Z Y X W V U T S R Q P O N M L K J I H G F E D C V A. Testing 1 2. Hello, my name is Brian, and I'm a locksmith, and I'm from San Francisco, and I am the inventor, creator, developer, publisher, author, whatever you want to call it, of the alphabet playing cards. And the alphabet playing cards are a standard deck of playing cards. It's going to be hard to kind of display these in the camera, but I'll probably do it one at a time. So, and I'll show you a few cards. This is the Ace of Clubs, and it has the letter A added to it. This is the 2 of Clubs, and it has the letter B added to it, the 3 of Clubs, and so on. And that's what they are. They're standard playing cards with the alphabet added to them. That's the Ace of Spades, and it has the letter N. This is the 9 of Hearts, and it has the letter I. And every single card has a letter associated with it. So there's 26 letters in the alphabet, and there's 52 cards in the standard card deck. And 26 fits into 52 twice. So each deck of cards has 2 full alphabets in them, 2 full English alphabets. And the red suits, the hearts and diamonds, have black letters. So hence the Ace of Diamonds has a black N. It's a red suit with a black letter. And the black suits have red letters. Here's the 8 of Spades. Isn't that a beautiful graphic there? Just the way that the letter fits with the card, with the regular card pattern. It's got a really cool kind of graphic to it. Anyway, the black suits have red letters. So the thing about these cards is it allows you to play regular card games with them because they're regular cards, but then you can add the element of words to them, adding word games. So, like for instance, if you wanted to play just a straight word game, you could deal 7 cards and you can play a Scrabble type game. So, you try to find you get 7 cards and then you lay down your first letter, your first words. Find the letters and then make a word, and then you can kind of crisscross them, just like you would in Scrabble. And then the next player can pull their cards and add to it, and so on. And you can add up the points. I haven't come up with a point system, but these cards, I didn't create games with them. I created the cards, and I'm hoping that once they get out into the public, into the general public, that people can create games for them. So that's my purpose for creating them. They came to me in a dream. I had this dream where I was playing with these cards, and I don't remember exactly what the game was in the dream, but I just remember, the cards were in the dream. They weren't actually this style of card, but they were regular playing cards, and they had a kind of an oval-shaped alphabet on them, And so anyway, I was playing with these cards in the dream, and then I looked at, when I later on when I was awake, I was thinking about the dream, and I thought, that was really interesting. I wonder if I can find those cards. And so I started looking for them. And I did find other so-called alphabet cards, but they were just cards with letters on them. They weren't playing cards. They weren't like our standard deck of playing cards. And so after searching around online for them, I couldn't find them, and so I checked to see if anybody had ever made them, and I found out that they had never been made. And so I wound up making them, and this is the end result. This has all been on a shoestring budget with my own money. I got the cards printed up. I did the graphic design myself. It's actually really simple, but isn't that a beautiful card? That's the ten of spades with the W, and isn't that just a cool pattern? You know, it's just I just love the design of the cards. That's the letter Y with the Queen of Spades. And it's really interesting. You can check out what your name is in the cards, and it's really cool. If your name, like for instance, if your name is Anna, your name would actually be all four aces, and wouldn't that make a cool T-shirt or something, Anna? All four aces as your name. But then a lot of people would have very interesting names in the cards. I was just doing a friend of mine, Larry, today, and he has two queens, two fives, and an ace. And so if that were a poker hand, that would be a pair of twos, which would be a pretty good hand. Uh, but of course it wouldn't beat Anna. um, so like one of the games I came up with, I am a locksmith, and part of what I've been doing is giving the decks that I have made to my customers. And when the customers have kids, I tell them that the kids can play. If especially if the kids are like learning how to read, I tell them that because that's a lot. That's when a lot of kids are also learning how to play cards. So let's say they're playing a standard game of fish or war or something like that. Then let's say one kid throws down a card, into a pile, and let's say the card is the letter Q. Well, Q might be a kind of a difficult one, but let's try it. Okay, so the kid picks up the letter Q. He's learning what words are, and so he says, "Once upon a time," he pulls the letter Q, and then he says, "Once upon a time, there was a Q-tip," and so then that's his contribution to the story. Then the next kid pulls a card or plays a card, and his letter is a K, and so then he could say, he can add to the Q-tip. So he could say the Q-tip was flying a kite, and then the next kid could pull the letter M, and they could say, and the kite landed on a monkey, and so on. They tell a story, and the fact they're kids, they're imaginative, and they've probably got a lot of crazy ideas in their heads, and it kind of helps them come up with a story. Now, if there's another kid that's in their group who can read and write because he's a little older or something, well, that kid could write down the story, and then at night they would have this story about a Q-tip flying a kite, landing on a monkey, and then whatever else comes afterwards, and they've written the story, they've contributed, they've done something creative, and that's my whole goal. Is I want these cards out there so that people can create with them, because there's many different ways that you can tell stories and so on. In a way, these cards are like talking cards. If you're playing, let's say you're playing a game of solitaire, and you just lay down the cards, you'll find all kinds of words in the cards. A lot of them are anagrams, but they can really trigger the imagination, and so adults can use them too, but kids, especially if they're learning how to read and they're playing cards at the same time, it can really help them with their reading and so on. Of course, it has jokers. This is the black joker, and it's got a red joker. And if you want to use them as a Spanish deck, you can use the jokers as enyes. I do have them in other languages, but I don't have printed decks in other languages. but I've created the cards in, I mean, let's say there's Hebrew, there's Greek, there's Arabic, Farsi, Ukrainian, Russian. I have them in runes. I have them in Klingon. I mean, all these different languages. And I intend to do them in every possible language that I can that's within, that I can fit them into. So far, the language with the most characters that I've created is Hungarian, and that uses 44 letters. And so the cards are 88. And so in order to accommodate 88 cards, I had to add extra characters and extra suits. So in addition to clubs, spades, diamonds, and hearts, I've added shields and lamps to the cards, and then I've added extra characters. So like in the German deck, I've added a pope and an emperor, and in the Hungarian deck, I've broken up the hierarchy by a family. So in other words, it would be mother, father, daughter, son, and family pet, and so on, instead of king, queen, jack, and so on. I've also made some cards online that are chess cards. So I've taken the deck of cards and I've made kind of chess pieces out of them. And then I've made a game. It's not online, but it's something that's in the works. So I've got a lot of ideas for these cards. And I'd love for people to go to my website and check out my cards. And I'm trying to get people interested in them, and trying to find investors, because I want to make the physical cards in all the different languages. I have one in Korean, and I would love it, for instance, if like Korea, if people in Korea started playing with the Korean deck and using them in the same ways that we are, that we would use the English deck. So it would have Korean characters. And let's say you want to learn Korean. So right now, the online version will actually show you what the word is. I mean, what the letter is in Korean. It tells you how to pronounce it, and it gives you the kind of the sound of the word. And those are all features that are in the games that I have set up online. Right now, I don't have verbal pronunciations with them, but that's the next phase of the online games. And you can check out my games online at apccards.com. That's alphabet playing cards, apccards.com. And check out the Klingon. That's a really cool one if you're a Star Trek aficionado. There's a rune game if you are want to learn runes. It's kind of a cool way to learn runes. I've got I am also working on a American Sign Language deck. It's a little wonky right now. It's not all kind of done, but just so you can get some ideas. And so these are the online versions of the cards, and at apccards.com. And then I want to make them in physical decks. And that's my purpose of this video, is to try to get people aware of the cards. And I would love any feedback that you could give me. I've got contact information on my website. I would really appreciate any feedback. And I am just very grateful and happy that you guys have checked this out. Please, if you have any questions about the cards, please contact me. I would really love to hear from you. Thank you very much.